Hello guys, TKG is here for your comfortable LostArk life. Today, I'm going to cover the recent stream issues in this video. In the recent stream, the director spoke directly about the current and future direction of the LostArk. So, I'm going to cover that in today's video. In fact, it would not be an exaggeration to say that this stream was mostly composed of apologies and reflections. In any case, the stream started by mentioning the direction LostArk will take in the future. So first, they started by mentioning the 5 major directions in advance, and the contents are as follows. Not only did they talk about the current direction for end contents and the policy of being obsessed with excessive sales, but they also said that he would introduce in-game combat analysis, which the entire community has been asking for. In fact, they finally said that they would directly disclose the information that was almost like an obsession and share it with the players, which is quite positive. Also, as the director directly and continuously mentioned, it could be seen as a positive aspect that they will reduce this excessive gameplay burden in the future. In fact, LostArk has been expensive for everyone to play recently. Honestly, I never thought I would say this, but when the economy collapsed, all contents become expensive. To be more honest, it really didn't make sense. It's just that the cost of all contents was really expensive. So I think it is a positive direction to gradually ease this part so that all players can enjoy it at a reasonable price. And also, through in-game combat analysis, I think it's not a bad idea to reduce people's conflict and change the raid difficulty itself to casual. But one thing that comes to mind is, why did they do it earlier? In fact, combat analysis, regardless of whether there is or not, if the game itself had become easier to play, combat analysis might have been necessary. All the content was too hardcore, and it's true that conflict and animosity among players increased accordingly. If the LostArk raid itself had been less burdensome to the players from the beginning, I think it would have been much better. But at least I think it's a better decision to change this direction and adjust in-game contents to be more player-friendly. And finally, he said that a comprehensive combat power user interface or number will be introduced in the future. I think it is a really good decision to display this complex builds as in-game numbers, just like the information that can be seen off-site. Additionally, the director mentioned balance. In addition to the recent balance patch, he directly stated that about 3 classes will be subject to additional adjustments in the future. Mainly, there will be adjustment for classes that still have unreasonable managing structure in the contents as we enter Season 3. I just suddenly thought of it, but I think Lunar Voice Reaper will be include this adjustments. Also, the director mentioned that they plan to further ease the 1600 to 1620 progression section this time. The honing success rate will be doubled, and nerf will be applied to the materials needed for honing. And as I mentioned in the last video, tripods will be removed in the future. They will be completely removed in the future. But before that they are removed, you will be able to temporarily purchase an amulet for 1 silver from the NPC to level the desired skill tripod. And the director himself stated that support will also be improved, and the support-related updates will be made this summer. And personally, I think they will be made in line with the female paladin that is coming out this summer. Anyway, it is true that they have avoided updates regarding support until now. And going forward, things like mana, engravings, and arc passive will be improved this summer. And the gems that I show you in the previous video have been adjusted in some parts. In particular, the character bound factors remains the same, but the time to return to tier 4 gems has increased from 1 week to 15 days. And the additional attack power effect has been removed. In other words, the gem system that is being changed this time is that instead of being character bound, you can freely convert attack power gems and cooldown gems. In this week's KR Regions patch, that is this Wednesday, there were raid-related alleviation updates. It was mainly difficulty adjustments. Damage adjustments were made for excessive mechanic, such as pattern that kill you in one shot. Also, both HP got nerfed and some gimmicks in normal were removed. And a system that allow you to revive was added to all Kazero's raid. So the approach to updating has changed to the current game direction of making it easier and lighter. In fact, for the past few months or since the start of Season 3, LostArk has been receiving quite poor reviews, and it seems to have been on a steady decline. What is shocking is that the price was extremely burdensome, and at the same time, many people left the game contents. So, simply put, the burden on players has increased so much that players are simply leaving the game contents. Still, I think it is a positive direction that they are going to actively respond from now on, not just accumulate various statistics and data. And I think everyone has been dissatisfied with the game itself because it's so hardcore until now. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and always, thanks for your big support. Hope this video was a little help for your LostArk journey. And of course, if you like my videos, hit the sub for more upcoming infos. I'll come back with more useful infos in the next video.